Well, guys, we have come to that time of the year once again. We got the crew back together. Well, we are missing Shane. Just wanted to say, Shane, we miss you. We wish you were here with us filming the top 10 best and worst films of the year. But unfortunately, Shane works so much that he doesn't really have enough time for really to do anything anymore. So I just want to let you know, Shane, we miss you. We love you, brother. And we wish you were here, buddy. But as we just said, it is that time of the year when everyone starts to put up their best and worst movies of the year. This case, 2019. Now, a lot of people put up their best, then their worst, but I like to think of it like this. We like to put the bad news first, and then we like to end with the good news first. So we are here. I am here, I should say, with Alex Episode 90, Joe Dini, and Lucas LC Muscles. And we're here to share with you guys the top 10 movies in our minds and our opinions that just pissed us off. We hate these movies. We wish we could have done something else with our time besides watch these movies. And money. And we wish we could have saved our sanity as a result as well. So, in terms of honorable mentions, we're going to get into our dishonorable mentions first. Lucas?
I have a good amount of dishonorable mentions, starting with Frozen 2. It is a very disappointing movie, and yeah, I'm sorry, I just did not like this movie. It was just very disappointing.
Wow, right off the bat.
Another disappointing movie, Captain Marvel.
I can see that.
Angry Birds 2. It's better than the first one, but still bad.
Even bother with it.
Chapter 2, my most disappointing film of the entire year. Then after that, Ugly Dolls. Thank God this was a box office bomb.
Didn't even see it.
Aladdin. The only thing that kept me in this movie was the genie. Everything else was terrible. And Jafar was terrible.
That was good.
And then last but not least, one that just got knocked off to the worst dishonorable mentions list, Playmobil the movie.
Oh, God, Lord.
Joe?
I don't have any. I didn't see enough movies this year to really give a list.
Okay, so here are my dishonorable mentions in no particular order. So here we go. Pet Sematary, Men in Black International, Yesterday.
Oh!
Yeah. Stuber, Stupid, more like it. 21 Bridges, The Prodigy, Angel Has Fallen, and this is the one that's gonna make people rise up. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Whoa.
I didn't like it.
All right, my dishonorable mentions are, we have 10, right?
Yeah,
that's the
that's
cutoff.
I don't have 10.
So I have The Beach Bum, Serenity, Dumbo, Palms, Men in Black International, Child's Play, Annabelle Comes Home, Stuber, Glass, and Escape Room.
All right, guys. So those are our dishonorable mentions of the year. Let's get this over with. Let's rip it off like a band-aid. Get on to our top 10 worst films of the year. Let's get it on. Okay, Lucas. Number 10. Start it off, buddy.
My number 10 is a very disappointing and very tragic end to what was set to be a great franchise under this name, and that is Dark Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
Dark Phoenix, unfortunately, this film was a humongous disappointment. The effects was terrible. Some of the CGI was just absolutely garbage. Even Professor Xavier, I love Professor Xavier. He was a total douchebag in this movie.
He really was.
I'm sorry. Like, dude, you were one of the nicest guys out there, and you were a great character, and then you just completely throw your character out the window in this movie. And this was a humongous financial box office bomb, thank God, because this could have killed off for something that I don't think they really wanted a chance.
No.
So, Dark Phoenix definitely deserves to be my number 10 on the list. It's just beyond terrible. So, that's my number 10.
I read the original story that was based on this one. I read the story first, and when I went to go see the movie, it just left me with a big disappointment in the end. So that is Alita Battle Angel.
Oh.
And this was on your most anticipated.
I know. Yeah, because I read the manga. They ended it prematurely.
And there was just way too much going on in it as well.
Yeah, and I didn't like the fact that they set it up for like future sequels when you're not even guaranteed a future sequel.
Yeah.
I don't like it like that. And there really was not a strong villain in it. I wouldn't say that the story wasn't really like so over the top, like dramatic. You know, they're already trying to set up for sequels. James Cameron thinks he's going to get a franchise out of this. The visuals were fine. I mean, it definitely felt like something that I would see from the manga. But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, the story was just... I mean, yes, it followed the actual original manga story as close as it could. But at the same time, it just wasn't what I wanted it to be. in the sense that it could have gone a lot better. They could have not expected it to be like 2 more movies, which they were trying to get, but with it's not going to do that.
All right, so my number 10, this was a movie that I had no plans on seeing. I wasn't going to see this. But then, of course, every time and now and again, I get those home video reviews from Flick Direct. This is one of them. My number 10 is The Kitchen. It's a movie that's based on a comic book series. It's with Tiffany Haddish. It has Elizabeth Moss and also has Melissa McCarthy's in it. It had a lot of promise, but, oh, God. Boring as all can be. And now here's the thing. Melissa McCarthy is actually great in this movie. Do not get me wrong. Tiffany Haddish didn't do anything in this movie besides saying, things get intense. All of a sudden, she's like, I got a meeting to go to. Goes away. Elizabeth Moss just walks around like this. She just gives that brooding face the entire time. Domhnall Gleeson's in it, and his introduction is literally the most random thing ever. And, these ladies talk a big game. They talk about how badass they are. They never show what they do. It shows them walking around, talking. That's it. There's a couple of things I could say I liked about, but God, just a bad movie altogether. I was bored on my mind, and once it ended, I just thought, thank God, and that's my number 10.
My number 10 is one of those movies that should have been straight to DVD.
Oh, God.
Let's be honest.
All right.
My number 10 is The Intruder.
Actual...
It was disjointed, it was contrived, it was cliche as hell. I mean, there was no real, purpose on the plot. The characters were unrealistic, and this one just felt like a straight-to-DVD movie. It was bad. Just simply put.
That's how it looked.
Yeah, it looked bad. Dennis Quaid, really, of all people, you picked Dennis Quaid.
It looked like he was having a fun time with it.
Yeah, he that's the only positive about it. He was having a fun time with it. But this movie was bad.
Bad.
It was just bad. That's all I gotta say. Dennis Quaid. That's number 10.
Number 9, Lucas.
Number 9. This is the worst
Uh-oh.
female duo cop
Oh.
movie or female
Yeah,
duo action movie I've seen this year. It's Hustlers.
Boom!
The Hustle.
The Hustle. That's my number 9 as well.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, The Hustle's
Wait,
that low.
Are we talking about Hustlers or
The Hustle.
Okay.
The
I was
Hustle.
about to say.
Hustlers was awesome.
This movie is beyond terrible. It's some of the worst training montages I've ever seen in a movie. Try and see Rebel Wilson just training and absolutely failing for minutes on end. It's not funny.
Not to mention that this was a remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels,
That's
Which I
right.
heard is great.
It
which
was.
is one of the funniest comedies.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
this
didn't check
is
it.
mine.
Of
I
the
need to
80s.
check it out.
I've heard it's hilarious.
Chemistry between these two, Anne Hathaway and
Rebel.
Rebel Wilson.
It's non-existent.
I was about to say, yeah. I'll talk.
I mean,
more
her
about it later.
accent is hot, though. Yeah, the comedy in this movie was not good.
It's hot garbage.
It's absolutely hot garbage. And that's why it's my worst. Lucas, you got anything else to say
There's-
about this?
There's really nothing that... All these characters are just beyond terrible what they do, and if they could try and get a job somewhere else, they'd probably see this movie and then get immediately ejected. That's why this movie's our number 9.
It was bad.
It's
it was not
bad.
funny. It was hideous.
It is hideous.
It's hideous.
It was hideous.
So I think this director has been making some pretty bad movies throughout this decade, and this one definitely has been adding to the list. I haven't seen anything good from him this decade, going all the way back to when he made Alice in Wonderland.
Oh.
So this one is his latest one. It's Dumbo.
I never saw. I didn't see it.
It's,
I didn't bother.
I saw it on a plane.
It's like the poor man's version of Big Fish.
From what I heard, it sucked.
You guys remember Big Fish?
Yes.
No.
I
That
love
one
Big-
was great.
I love Big Fish.
But it was
yeah.
like Danny DeVito reprising his role as the circus guy, and except instead of a fish, it's an elephant. Look, Tim Burton, his shine has gone. He hasn't made anything good, and this is. I mean, I know he's had a few hits here and there in smaller roles. I mean, Amy Adams' career went up when he did
Big
Big
Eyes
Eyes.
was good a couple years ago. That's about it though.
But Dark Shadows, no. Alice in Wonderland, no.
I like Alice in Wonderland.
The sequel was terrible.
Oh, the sequel sucked. Yeah.
It takes all the great elements out of the original animated one, like the pink elephant sequence, the train sequence, the building of the big tent sequence.
Yeah.
This movie is just not good. It's definitely not something from the live action versions of all these Disney movies that I would
Right.
say is the pinnacle. So, blah.
All right, my number 9 is the only Netflix movie on this list.
Oh.
It is extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile, or as my buddy Mr. Garrison likes to call it, extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and smells like shit. I was interested in this movie because Ted Bundy, as we all know, is one of the most infamous serial killers out there. And I wanted to know about it because, I mean, Zac Efron is a great actor when he's given good material. And when I heard he was playing Ted Bundy, I was like, oh, wow. And the trailer looked great. The first trailer was not so good, but the second trailer, I just thought, okay, that's what I want to see. This, to me, reminded me of why I didn't like Pain and Gain. Because Pain and Gain, I felt like it was Michael Bay essentially trying to have us empathize with the bad guys. Where it felt like that Joe Berlinger wanted us to sympathize with Ted Bundy. Which, that's a fucked up thing to do, to say the least.
There's already women that sympathize with him already.
Yeah, exactly. Zac Efron, he nails it. Like, it's scary how good he is as Ted Bundy. Yeah. And there are some scenes where it shows the potential, and I get it that the movie isn't really focused on Ted Bundy and more on his girlfriend that he lived at the time, who was constant denial. But at the same time, when you're making a movie about Ted Bundy, you have to walk that fine line between exploitation and also honoring the victims that Ted Bundy killed, where it didn't really want to take the chances, it felt like. This movie could have been the next Monster, I feel like. Zac Efron, I love you, but I hope this performance gives you more. But this movie did not deserve that performance. Number 9.
Number 8. I just gotta say one thing to this one director. Elizabeth Banks, please stop making movies. You are, without doubt, one of the worst directors working in Hollywood today. Your latest project, quote, quote, Charlie's Angels, was an absolute abortion that should never existed. When you ruin Patrick Stewart, make him unlikable, you've crossed the line. Patrick Stewart is one of my favorite actors working today, especially as a voice actor in American Dad as Avery Bullock.
As making him stupid, the Emoji Movie wasn't enough.
Yeah, the Emoji Movie is bad too, trust me. But Elizabeth Banks, you took it way too far here. None of the characters are likable. All of them are stupid. The action scenes are terrible. The villain is terrible. Everything in this movie is utter garbage. There is no reason to watch this movie. Stop filmmaking in general. Elizabeth Banks, just go away. No one likes you. That's why it's my number 8.
I want to go that far.
I just think I gave him a Picard impression earlier. All right. Well, speaking of stars,
okay.
we're going in. Well, because you had the giant thing in the sky that came to Earth, and with this movie, with the Dark Phoenix. Mm-hmm. So this movie, ended a franchise.
Oh, so it's Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, X-Men was around since
2000.
2000. So
2001.
The franchise is retro as of this year. With this movie, it just didn't end on a bang that a lot of us were hoping for.
Close.
I mean, I don't know how I compare this with Apocalypse, but
Apocalypse is definitely a lot better.
I don't know about that. I don't necessarily like the way that Fox has handled it, but now Disney's got it. They can revamp X-Men and
again
make it let's do something different with it. So
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, get Daniel Radcliffe to play Wolverine.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors it's happening. It's happening.
I can't see him as Wolverine, to be honest.
Dark Phoenix.
You okay?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
Alright, my number 8, this might be the most melodramatic and just the dumbest movie I saw all year. Gemini Man is my number 8.
Oh, the Will Smith
Will
movie?
Smith?
Yep.
Will Smith versus Will Smith?
Yep.
Ang
The
Lee.
dumbest tagline possible. Will Smith versus Will Smith. That was on the poster, I swear to God. Now, Ang Lee is a hit or miss director a lot of the time. Life of Pi was excellent. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Awesome movie.
Mountain.
I haven't seen Brokeback Mountain, so I can't say. Now, apparently the script for this film had been around since the 90s, the late 90s.
Yeah, they've been working on it for...
Talk about boring, melodramatic, and the CG. I mean, now, most of the time the CG looked quite good because, it's de-aging young Will Smith. And the end scene, oh my God, it looked like a video game, and I want to start laughing so hard. The action was bleh, to say the least. And a lot of the time, they're just explaining. If you have a 90s action film that's being released in the 2010s, at least have it have a self-aware tone to make it fun. Took itself way too seriously, and by the end, I just thought, no. I was not a fan of this movie, and yeah, Gemini Man, Ang Lee, please, you've proven yourself to be a better filmmaker. Please, come back. Make something like Life of Pi or Crouching Tiger, Hare and Dragon.
Or Brokeback Mountain.
My number 7 and number 8, technically speaking, are my 2 most disappointing films of the year. Starting with number 8, Terminator Dark Fate.
What?
Oh, you're apologizing to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I thought this was absolutely disappointing. It pretended like the other films didn't exist.
Well, I mean,
Well, that's what you do with a
I mean, it retcons Terminator 3 and the ones afterwards.
No, I understand that,
That's what
but
Halloween did.
it kind of like
Well, Halloween works,
it
though.
basically killed the T-800, its character and its reputation and all that stuff. Action scenes were okay. You're right seeing Arnold again, and then Sarah Connor.
Yeah, Linda Hamilton was awesome.
Yeah, she was amazing in it, but everything else just fell flat. But yeah, Terminator Dark Fate is my number 8.
Number 7. There's a funny story with this number 7.
Oh, God.
This is the worst animated film of the year, by far. What do you do as a studio if you don't have enough time to make into a feature-length film, like an hour and 20-minute or an hour 30-minute film?
You go to the bottom of the trash, and you pick, oh, here's a good script, let's use this one. Boom.
Well, it's something like that, but Norman the North, Keys to the Kingdom.
What?
This is 2 movies in one. I am not kidding you.
I forgot that
I am
was
not kidding you. This is actually a true story. When Rob Schneider is too good for this movie, you know it's going to be bad. Not only is this film 2 movies in one, it literally doesn't even hide the fact that its transition is terrible. First part of this movie is a heist movie. The second part, which is the second 45 minutes, it's a hockey movie. This is just so beyond bad. When Rob Schneider says no to this, you know you're in trouble. And this was only released in about 50 or so theaters.
Makes
Just
sense.
stop. Don't even bother. They're saying they want to do a 4th and 5th one. No. Please no. Screw Norman the North. Your franchise is terrible. That's why it's
Laserdisc.
my number 7.
You like fur technology?
I think we're the same number 7. Cats?
Yes, it's cats.
There you go.
You want to be a jellicle cat?
Oh.
Want to be a jellicle cat, Joe? Oh my God. Now, I have a quick thing about this, all right?
All right.
My boss told me we need to go see Cats. I was like, fuck. I went to that screening and good God. Only good thing about it is that I got to talk to the audience and get them hyped up about it, but that's about it. And I feel bad for getting that audience
hyped up
hyped.
an audience for
Yes.
Cats?
Yeah.
You had to be like, hey guys, it's Cats, the musical.
On movie.
I felt so bad for getting them hyped up because of what I saw afterwards. Good God.
Imagine you trying to plug a. You know, I have musical theater friends that said they have refused to see it. They have boycotted it. They
Is
have
it because of Taylor Swift?
No, it's because of fur technology.
Oh, that for tech. I will say this: when it comes to CG, the close-ups looked rather good, but everything else, including those cockroaches, that one
yes,
scene,
I did. I remember.
Oh!
The cockroach scene. Oh, that made me laugh.
That
the
was
most.
the weirdest
That made me
scene.
laugh the most.
I was sorted out. I was freaked out watching that.
What puzzles me is why Dame Judi Dench was involved in this. I can't
Barely in the
imagine-
movie.
But
Barely
I
in
can't
it.
imagine she looked at herself in the future.
Yeah,
production,
right.
Like, I got an Oscar for Shakespeare in Love. I was in the James Bond series.
Now I'm in this
and
shit.
now I guess this was a very good payday for a cameo.
Oh, it had to have been.
Give it a few years. It is definitely going to be one of those cult classics.
And this is a film that has no story. Now I get the Broadway play had no story, but for a movie, you need a premise or some type of story to tie everything together. Otherwise, it's just hey, number, musical number. Let's just dance. There's nothing to tie it together, and because of it,
And the
boring.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: would you prefer Les Miserables over this?
Oh my God, yes,
Even if it's 3 hours long.
yes,
Stop
Okay.
the mad
easily Les Miserables, because that at least had a compelling story. Where this, there's nothing to back up anything. There's nothing. There's some cool numbers, and it's well choreographed. But
Well,
that's it.
Next time we were in New York, I'm taking you to see Cats.
If you go. Okay, so number 7 is my second most disappointing film of the year, Rambo: Last Blood.
I knew it. You, the big action fan.
I am. Forget about the action for a second. The plot I thought was bad. The racial undertones were kind of eh.
Oh, there's racist?
Yeah, racial
not
undertones.
racist.
Racial
How racist
undertones.
was it?
If it's the last one, thankfully,
Well, it is.
I hope it
No,
is.
it's
Well, it's
not.
Last Blood.
I don't
Last.
think it is.
It
I
says
like it.
last in the movie.
It says Last Blood,
Yeah, and he
but
said he's not going to make another movie.
He could have done better than this.
I
Old
liked
Town
it.
Road was
I
in
think
it.
he, huh?
The song Old Town Road was in it. Was that a good?
No,
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Just no. That's it.
No, I mean.
But it was
you can
still
get that in all
disappointing
the
as
other
hell.
Rambo movies.
I liked it.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Romy, I don't like you at all. You need to lose a freaking weight because you convinced me to see this atrocity of a garbage movie.
I know it is.
Jexy.
Oh.
Jetsy. What's Jetsy?
I hated every minute of this movie. No characters are likable. They even made Michael Pena a total douchebag in this movie. Every character is seriously unlikable. Adam Devine is an idiot. He's an idiot. All he does, literally 9% of the movie, especially in the beginning, he says this.
Hold on, I need to get a video of you doing that.
Why?
That's all he
I can
freaking
send it to
does.
him.
I swear, dude. Adam, he literally is just so freaking fixed on his phone, and it's embarrassing. And Jexy, this AI, this computer program now, she's the worst. She's the worst thing is she has yet powers to control smart cars, or I'm in the cloud. You can't get rid of me that easily. Oh, fuck you. You are. I just don't get how bad and how many drugs these people took to think of this movie. I don't think we ever need to see that ever again.
I could have seen it, but I was like, you know what?
Adam
I got better
Devine,
things to do with
please
my
stop.
time.
Adam Devine is one of the worst comedic actors out there, man. I'm sorry. I just don't get him. Why did I see it? Because of the Fat Man.
You
The
were
Fat
you
Man
were
wanted me
talking
to see it,
You were
and
talking to it.
I was talking to it. Otherwise, it'd be incomplete. Oh, fuck off. That's bullshit.
Oh, we have
I'm
another
never.
debate,
I'm
then.
not doing worse lists next year because of you. So screw
Oh!
you. Yeah,
You
that's-
see what you've done? You've killed the poor kid.
You better. I'll make sure when we meet up in Vegas, you're gonna eat vegetables, a ton of them. So,
Another pickle?
Joe, go ahead.
Make him, Lucas. Make him eat another pickle. All right.
No, it's gonna be broccoli. It's gonna be broccoli, raw broccoli with no dressing.
Joe, go ahead.
What's wrong with dressing?
Okay, so 6. I talked to you a little bit about this.
You did?
Yeah, I talked to you about the controversy behind it. It was about a few days ago.
Oh.
Yeah, so Rise of Skywalker is up on this list
Wow.
for several reasons, and I'll get to it in a second.
I didn't hate it, but you know what? I didn't like it either.
Yeah, everyone complained about The Last Jedi.
Disappointing.
Everyone complained about Last Jedi sucking.
It was
Some
great.
people thought we should have put that on our worst lists.
Nope, not me.
No.
This was
Oh,
what I would
yes.
call JJ trying to go back to the 1980s to try to make a Star Wars movie. Ryan Johnson made a fantastic
He
movie.
did. It's my
And
top
then-
3 Star Wars.
And then this one was just like boring. You have to rely on Billy D. Williams again.
Who's barely in it? He's a cameo.
Yeah, and then you have to also bring back Palpatine.
Oh my god.
I was like, you don't need to do that. Yeah, also the Rose character who got so much
Sidelined
traction. Yeah,
completely.
sidelined. And this was the one character that JJ said that he loved the most from The Last Jedi. And then completely sidelined her. after
Wow.
that. Get a new
Lucas has
host.
been trying to say something for the past couple
I've
of
been
minutes.
waiting, but is it me or did Daisy Ridley get thicker in this movie?
Oh my lord.
Alright, so my number 6, man. I love this franchise, but this is easily the worst out of all of them. My number 6 is The Curse of La Llorona. I love the Conjuring franchise. I'm a big horror buff, and every Conjuring film I have liked. I even like The Nun. Yes, guys, I like The Nun. I even like Annabelle Comes Home. Sorry. La Llorona was a film that I was looking forward to because it's based on a very terrifying urban legend, La Llorona, very infamous folklore within the Mexican community, the Latin community. This film takes such a dark and terrifying urban legend folklore and makes it into a cheap, generic haunted house movie. The director of this film is doing The Conjuring 3. I am terrified for The Conjuring 3 because of this movie. It's just not scary. Michael Chaz was basically copying James Wan's direction style, doing the long takes. The jump scares in this movie were obnoxious. I mean, there's a couple of good scares in there, but other than that, it's just... I feel like a guy that was not only emulating James Wan way too much, but he was making La Llorona a really terrifying folklore into a generic jump scare fest. A folklore as great as La Llorona deserved so much better than this. La Llorona, go away.
I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not a fan of this franchise, but I will admit the previous films were better than this film, 100%. My number 6 is Hellboy.
Oh,
Talk about that later on mine.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro's ones were actually
they were great.
they were actually not so bad. This one was just
They were
so
great. What are you
like
talking about?
no, just forced and contrived.
It was bad, dude.
Just the action scenes in it, the character development in it, it's just the cinematography in it,
It was bad,
CGI.
especially in the end.
Oh, just that. Those previous two, like I said, are better than this one.
Light years
Well, a
better.
million times better than that.
All right, guys, we're on to our top 5 worst films of the year. You know, these are the ones that really just send us into the 7 circles of hell. So, Lucas, what do you got?
I'm going to give you guys 2 actors' names. If you can guess the movie that they're in, then I will be very happy because these 2 actors, they're going to be my number 5 worst. So I'm going to give you 2 actors, Keegan-Michael Key and John Cena.
Playing with fire.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Playing with fire. Holy God. This
that what
is
you're
one
on?
of the worst. And you know what's the worst thing about this movie? You get WWE mod John Cena. You get, hello, I'm John Cena, and I'm here to work this fire station and protect everyone in it because I'm John Cena. This is literally how he is throughout this entire movie. I am not kidding you. He's just this robotic, hi, I'm John Cena voice the entire time. And just some of the stunts in this movie are just so bad. The little kids in this movie are annoying. There's no one that literally even tries to be likable. And seeing John Cena in a My Little Pony t-shirt that's way
That
too
is
small.
so cool. He's a
It's
brony.
It's
He's
stupid.
a brony.
I'm sorry. I'm
He's a
not a
brony.
fan of the My Little Pony crap and the brony culture. I'm sorry. That's stupid. Playing with Fire is one of the worst comedies of the year. I think it is my worst comedy of the year, other than one that...
Ugh.
Yeah, other one I'll mention later that's more of a darker comedy. But yeah, Playing with Fire, my number 5.
I encourage you to go see this because this is a horror movie.
Oh.
So,
Which one?
okay, so you are a fan of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
Okay, so somebody thought that they wanted to capitalize
I know
on
what
it,
this is.
so
Yep.
they wanted to do a movie with Hilary Duff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Haunting
Yeah.
of Sharon Tate.
I know what it is.
Yes, the Haunting of Sharon Tate. Hilary Duff was not good as Sharon Tate. She didn't even get the proper accent of Sharon Tate at all. They fetishized the entire thing. They fetishized the entire murder of it. With
God.
Charlie. They just really went overboard with it. Like the horror is just. It's not even hilarious. It's just like over the top, but
It's just
stupid.
bad.
It's just bad. It's Metacritic rated it the worst movie of the year. It gave it an 8 out of 100.
From what I saw, this film got panned.
It appealed to the lowest common denominator, so that was like
Oh,
a total blah for
Yeah.
me.
All right, my number 5, man, this film broke my damn heart. Dark Phoenix is my number 5. I have loved the X-Men film franchise. Days of Future Past, Logan being the best ones, along with X-Men First Class. And this film could have redone in all the right ways what Brett Ratner screwed up with The Last Stand. Simon Kinberg, you screwed up even more so. There's something there. There's something in this movie. But man, for an X-Men film, it's uneventful as can be.
Yeah.
James McAvoy is great, but Xavier's a dick in this movie, to say the least. Jessica Chastain is a robot in this movie, to say the least. And every time she came on screen, I wanted to fall asleep. She put me to sleep. And I love that this movie shows that it shows, okay, now Jean Grey has the Phoenix powers. Did these guys see X-Men Apocalypse? She clearly showed that she had them in X-Men Apocalypse because she killed Apocalypse with them, but no, they never really explained that. No, the solar flare only ignited the Phoenix powers even more so, which they never go into. Thank God Jennifer Lawrence got killed in the first act. Seriously. I'm not joking. I hate this movie so much that, and I was so heartbroken that when I was walking to my car and sat down, I almost started breaking down crying. Broke my heart into a million pieces, and that's my number 5.
My number 5 is Ugly Dolls. Yeah, it basically rips off Trolls, the Lego Movie, and Toy Story. All 3 together. Totally unlikable characters. The animation in this movie is on the same level as one of Lucas's favorites, Strange Magic.
Strange
Magic! Easily the worst animated film of the year,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Hopefully your guys' too. Simply put, that's my number 5.
Number 4 for me Just why did this need to be made? You had Guillermo del Toro make 2 great films beforehand, and now you come out
there
with
you go.
this film. Just Hellboy.
Yeah, number
2019.
4 as well.
Number 4 is Hellboy 2019.
Oh,
God, this
man.
is just a travesty, and
It
it's
really
a sad
is.
thing. The acting was just awful.
Well, no, I say David Harbour. He looked like he was having a good time with it, so I can give it that. But Mila Jovovich, good God.
She was
What a
one of the
bad
worst
villain.
one of the worst
Ooh.
films I've seen all year.
And here's the thing: I love a good one-shot fight scene. That scene against the trolls was so badly done.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And the Kickstart My Heart fight scene. That was the only good fights in the entire movie. That's at the very end of the movie.
This movie's also boring.
By the way,
Stop.
Neil Marshall has directed some amazing stuff. He directed some of the best episodes of Game of Thrones. He did they did The Descent, which is one of the best horror films I've ever seen. And he did Doomsday, which is a really fun post-apocalyptic horror film. What the hell happened here with this one?
He didn't care.
According to Neil Marshall, he wanted to make it a much more darker movie. This was not a dark movie at all.
No, it wasn't.
It was way too comedic than anything.
Yeah,
So-
it was.
Lesson
it was
learned.
comedic.
Don't blame directors, blame producers.
But it was the studio's fault. This is a dumpster fire.
This is a
movie.
dumpster fire, and the acting is just.
It's bad.
It doesn't even. They don't even try.
And the CGI.
The CGI, especially with the monsters that come out,
It looks
it's
so bad. I saw this in IMAX, by the way. So
Why? Why bother with that?
AMC
IMAX?
AMC A-list, so I can see it in IMAX
Oh
for free.
jeez, that probably. is a
And guess
waste.
what else? Guess what else I saw in IMAX for free? Dark Phoenix.
Oh. Oh, oh lordy. This is why it's our number 4 worst.
Yeah, number 4.
So, mine's a Christian movie.
What?
Oh God.
A Christian movie.
This one's called Breakthrough.
Yes, I
Yes,
have heard of it.
Breakthrough.
I
So-
forgot that movie even came out.
Some of the characters are actually pretty mean.
Really?
Yeah, like at least with some of them. I mean,
Judgment Time.
No, it was judgment heavy. It was. This one was really judgmental, and they made the villains. They made the villains be the rational people, and the irrational people were the heroes in this.
That's bad.
Yeah, I mean, this is almost JCS. Like somebody.
Oh!
This is like if somebody from our high school directed, starred, and wrote this movie.
Oh my God.
We're going into that territory.
The trailer. I can't wait for you to go up and shoot those baskets once again.
Yeah, it was lines like that. It's like the dialogue. Yeah, the dialogue was pretty bad. It's the dialogue.
Yeah, I can't wait to go shoot those
Every time I heard that trailer, I had to stop myself from laughing so hard.
Okay, number 4 for me is going to be, Lucas mentioned this one already, Charlie's Angels.
Oh!
I honestly thought the 2000s ones were better.
I haven't said 2001 in ages, so.
He basically said it to a T. You ruined it. He absolutely ruined Bosley.
Ruined it!
Ruined it.
Darn it!
This movie was just bad. Yeah. There's really nothing more to say about it.
Lucas said pretty much what he wanted.
Yeah,
to say.
pretty much.
I'm sorry.
Like you guys are gonna do with my number 3, but anyways. That's my number 4.
Number 3 is the worst character of the entire year in regards to acting. Number 3 is the Beach Bum.
Oh, yeah, Matthew McConaughey.
Moondog, I swear to God, is the worst character of the entire year. He is an unlikable piece of shit asshole that literally does everything against common sense, and yet somehow he still wins. And yet, that's pretty much what the movie tells you. Even if you're an asshole, you can still do well in life. Fuck you. And just in general, just one of the scenes where Matthew McConaughey and Snoop Dogg are in the freaking seeing this giant marijuana tree in the freaking Christmas time. That scene alone is just so beyond stupid. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
This is a scene in the movie.
Wow.
What happens to Matthew McConaughey at the end? It defies all logic. So, The Beach Bum is definitely my number 3. It is, without a doubt, one of the worst films of the year.
This movie. I saw the trailer for this. This was only shown in Chicago. So I found it online because I was like, I have to watch this movie. This looks ridiculous. All the guns are now outlawed.
What is this?
And only the evil libtards have gotten these guns. And they're attacking the good conservative Christians. This is The Reliant.
So
heard this.
Oh
Yeah, no,
my
nobody
gosh.
did. Nobody did. There's like one scene where they're in the forest. It's like, God, why have you forsaken us? Ah! And he just like shoots the gun up into the sky.
What in the world?
It's basically like the economy has turned to nothing. Like the economy is dead. It's the Great Depression Part 2. It's basically if you took Red Dawn but made it even worse.
Oh God. Okay.
It's like
Now I
the
have an
Christian
idea.
version of Red Dawn. So that's the best I can explain it. But I would encourage you all, if you could find it online, to go watch it because it's stupid funny.
All right. So my number 3, Lucas. You mentioned with the beach bum it defies all logic.
Yeah.
This movie does even more so. Mine is Replicas.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
Yeah, I hated Replicas, dude. This was my first 0 of the year. Keanu Reeves stars as a guy who is trying to essentially take the concept of putting consciousness, a human consciousness, into a robotic body. He's been doing terrible at it until one day when he tries to go on vacation with his family, they die in a horrible car accident with Keanu Reeves being the sole survivor. So what does he do? He transfers their consciousness into separate bodies, which he grows. Why? Don't know how they do it. Don't know how. I get it's science fiction, but there has to be some logic in science fiction. This movie literally has no logic. Every character, as stupid as can be, Thomas Middleditch, by the way, has the only person that says, you're defying every physical law possible by doing this. And I said, thank God someone remembered, but do they care? No, not at all. The CG for the robot, oh my God. It looked like a PS1 game. It was that bad. Yeah. This movie was boring, made no sense. Keanu Reeves even in the movie. I love the man to death. He's one of the coolest guys in Hollywood, but overacts so badly. Seeing him holding his dead wife and acting had me laughing hysterically. Was that? It was terrible. God forbid they try to set up for a sequel, which they do happen to do. They set up for a sequel, and it's not kind of because this movie bombed bad.
Number 3 for me, you guys already explained everything I gotta say about it. Dark Phoenix. Simply put, that's my number 3.
Wow.
That was quick.
This is without a doubt one of the worst horror films I've ever seen, and without a doubt, this director absolutely has no idea how to direct horror in general. Number 2 is Midsommar bullshit.
Man.
Holy,
He hates
This was in my top 5
God.
films of the year.
I'm
love
sorry.
Midsommar.
I'm sorry. I don't see the appeal for anything in this movie. Every character is either stupid, an asshole, or just plain blinded by stupid cultism. Literally, this is a freaking movie about this dumbass cult in the freaking goddamn Eastern European country or whatever. This is, without a doubt, one of those movies that makes you question why you waste your time watching movies. Also have one of the most hilarious death scenes in movie history.
Oh, with the older guy jumping
Yes.
off the cliff.
I couldn't stop
I
laughing.
was like, oh shit.
I couldn't stop laughing. Even had Hereditary, which was terrible. That was a terrible movie. Even my friend, he's not even a movie fan, he goes, how'd this get a 91% Rotten Tomatoes?
It's the best horror film of the decade. You be quiet.
No, highly disappointing, highly terrible, and
I disagree.
just the ending itself just made me go, yeah, fuck this movie. So yeah, Midsommar bullshit is my number 2.
So I know how much you love Limp Bizkit.
Doing it hippie style.
Which movie are we talking
The
about?
Fanatic!
Yeah, that's right. We're
I
talking about
love
The
this, and
Fanatic.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm going to mention my best list later on because it's a
This
special
is a
category
good
for
movie
me.
for you. It just paints people that have mental illnesses and people on the autism spectrum in a very bad light. It does. It really does. It makes people think that they're nothing more than just obsessed B-movie fans, or at least obsessed fans to the point
Right.
where they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna go like so deep into like, oh, I'm gonna go kill people now because of this. It is not.
was hilarious.
Look, it just goes back right to that stigma of people on the spectrum are nothing more than just weird, crazy people. The acting from Travolta is just too terrible. It's not even to the point where it's like
Oh my
Tommy was
God.
so hilarious.
I was
it's just
laughing my ass.
Same
trying
here.
too hard and trying too hard to play a negative stereotype. Also, it goes into this whole thing about Hollywood obsession and everything like
Right.
that. So. Not necessarily one that I would put into the good category of so bad it's good. No, it's so bad it's bad.
All right, my number 2, Lucas, you mentioned this earlier. Good God, this movie was a torturous experience. My number 2, The Hustle.
Wow.
I hated this movie. Okay, just to let you guys know, when I saw this movie, the moment this movie ended, I stood up and I shot up and I speed walked out of that theater. I'm not even joking. Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson have terrible comedic chemistry. Anne Hathaway, that accent, there's one scene in particular, Lucas, you know, and I mentioned one thing, French fry. This is, like I mentioned, this is a remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I didn't mind the female version of Ghostbusters. This movie, I understood why people hated the Ghostbusters remake. I understood it completely after this. Not a single thing in this movie that made me laugh. Not a single thing. This movie was not only boring, it was slow piss as all hell. It was just, this was torturous to sit there. Thank you. I appreciate the comfort. I really do. I could have spent an hour and a half doing anything else. I could have spent that time playing Resident Evil 2 again. But no. Yeah, the hustle. Fuck this movie. Enough said.
You guys remember Her?
Yeah.
Jackson?
Yes, I remember the. Oh,
Nailed it. Everything about this movie was just horrible, so raunchy, so not funny. It was just, bleh. Lucas, you talked about it pretty much already.
I did talk about a good amount.
See it, or your list is incomplete.
Screw you, Jerome.
Alright, guys. We have come down to it. The number one movie that just felt like that shards of glass were shoved up her ass and dicks from saying himself. Lucas, what was your most painful movie that you sat through this year?
My number one worst is a Disney film. And this Disney film is the epitome of the worst aspects of the live action franchises. There is no need to make this movie. There was no need to do anything about it. And at least with some films you could change things. But with The Lion King 2019, this movie is the epitome of the worst aspects of the Disney live action franchise.
I liked Lion King. I liked it.
I'm sorry. This is without a doubt the worst live action Disney movie I have ever seen. There is nothing new about this movie. And some of the stuff that's in it, the songs are terrible in this movie.
It's the same ones from the previous one.
The previous one had better versions than this one did. They had no passion, no charisma in these songs. Be prepared. The greatest Disney villain song of all time. It is horribly ruined by Chiwetel Ejiofor in this movie. Crap, that's all it is.
Amazing.
No, it did not.
You're the only person I know that said the CG looked terrible.
It looked terrible because they did nothing with it. The Jungle Book was miles better than this movie because the Jungle Book improved on what the original was. This did nothing to improve it. All it was a soulless cash grab. They're just watered down, mediocre versions of the original. I'd rather just watch the original again than watch this movie. So, without a doubt, The Lion King 2019 is the number one worst movie of 2019.
What was
you said the letter U.
Oh!
Unplanned.
Oh my god!
This is propaganda 101.
I heard that was
Unplanned?
bad.
Oh, it's by the same people that wrote God's Not Dead.
Makes sense.
Ouch.
Makes sense. Pure Flicks. Anything that has a Pure Flicks production thing going around, just know anything they make is terrible. So they do the abortion and they make it a horror movie at that point.
What?
Yeah, they completely show so unscientific. So fetuses can't feel pain when the abortion happens, but in this one, they make the fetus go. Blah, blah! It's like so horrific, and the person it stars a woman who is a part of Planned Parenthood. Which anybody that knows who's a woman that appreciates Planned Parenthood would know it is probably one of the greatest things that have ever came into this country. But no, it's
pro-choice.
And it's like anti-Planned Parenthood to the T. So it's like she sees the abortion happening and she's like, I can't support this. I gotta go ahead and go against abortion in every way. There's even one line where the woman's like, is it okay if I punch that girl in the face? And her husband's like, no, honey, that's my job. I was like, oh my god. I thought that God's Not Dead was the worst of the decade when it came to religious movies, but this is worse. Damn. Because they do not give a fuck about anybody.
That says a lot, right?
Yeah, they're like, everyone that is for abortion is as evil as shit. Just to let everybody know, in the Bible, Jesus actually said that abortion's okay under certain circumstances. There you go. So you go in the Bible, there's a verse that talks about that. So I just want everybody to know that anybody that says that it's a religious thing when you're against abortion, no, you are anti-woman if you're against abortion. So I'm just putting that out right now. Boom, you suck.
My number one worst film of the year. I saw this film in the summertime. God damn. So, we all know about fan fiction, right?
Yes.
50 Shades came out a couple years ago, and that was essentially Twilight fan fiction. Now there is a thing such as Harry Styles fan fiction. I'm talking about After, my worst film, the film that just sent me into a rage. This is a movie that essentially takes the 50 Shades playbook with, I'm not even kidding, the abusive relationships, not just that it romanticizes cheating. Fuck you.
Wow.
So what happens after the boyfriend discovers that she's cheated on her, that she's cheated on him, this music swells where we're supposed to feel bad for her. Then she goes to see her roommate saying what happened, and she says, I feel like I lost my best friend. You didn't mention you cheated on your fucking boyfriend, you bitch. Like, 50 Shades, they use a pop song for every sex scene. Well, guess what? Since there's no sex scenes going on here, it's boring as all hell. Josephine Langford, oh my god, now she's trying her absolute best in this movie, but she is given shit to work with, like absolute shit to work with. And apparently the person who plays the guy who's supposed to be Harry Styles, it's Ray Fiennes' nephew.
Yes, I heard about that.
It's Ray Fiennes' nephew. By the time this movie ended, it felt like a curse lifted off my shoulders.
Oh, good.
Oh, it was so bad to sit through. I was told by so many people, you should see this movie for your worst list. I was like, fine. I know people will ask me this. Do you prefer 50 Shades or this? I prefer 50 Shades over this movie. This is based off of a thing on Wattpad. You can go and read it on Wattpad. I'm not joking. This movie, I can't believe this didn't see this movie, so I'm going to take your phrase. This movie sucks the devil's dick big time.
Congratulations.
Yes. After my number one worst film of the year,
This movie was just a pain. It was not funny. It was from the same guy who did Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Playing with fire.
Yep.
I'm so sorry.
John Cena. Keegan Michael Key and John Leguizamo. The three worst firefighters I have ever seen.
Luigi's a bad firefighter?
Yes.
You
No.
want to give him an attitude adjustment?
Yes. Especially the little girl.
Oh,
That little
Jesus.
girl was terrible in the movie. Oh.
She was crying and screaming that made my ears want to bleed. John Cena, play a song on the piano. Okay, the heat is on. We didn't start the fire.
I'm so glad I didn't see this movie.
And it's like, do you know any other song other than
And then fire songs. I thought Lard Ass 2 was bad. This is on the same level.
Wow,
This is on the same level on
way worse.
Mall Cop 2. That's all I got. I mean, wow.
Alrighty, guys, and that is going to do it for the movies that pissed us the fuck off in 2019. We got all of our anger out, and we no longer have to talk about these movies once again, unless if someone asks about them. Please don't ask us about After. Please. Thank you so much for watching our top 10 worst movies of 2019 list, but don't go anywhere just yet because our best list is coming up tomorrow, actually, on New Year's Eve. Cannot wait to tell you guys our best films of the year list. But Alex, Joe, and Lucas, thank you for joining us. But once again, don't go anywhere quite yet. Coming up next is our top 10 favorite movies of 2019. Until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow. See you guys.